Welcome to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called New Point System. I worked for a manufacturing shop when I was younger. The company wanted to bring in some new HR guy to change things around, as we basically had no rules. One of his rules was a point system for attendance. Being late counted the same as calling in and was counted as 1 point. My vehicle's gas gauge was broken and I had to estimate how many miles I could make, depending on how much money I put in my tank. One night, on the way to work, I ran out of gas, so I called a buddy to bring me a gas tank with a few gallons. I got the car going again and I pulled in at 11:05 PM, so I called my manager. I said, "Hey, I'm in the parking lot, but I'm late. I think I'm going to go home. I have PTO to cover my shift." My manager agreed, as we both thought the rule was uncalled for. 2 mornings later, I get called into the office and yelled at about calling in when I knew how important those parts were and how we were now behind for the week. When asked why I called in, I simply told him I drove past the shop at 11:05 and the rule made it where I was taking a point regardless, so I might as well enjoy my night off. Needless to say, the rule was changed shortly after that. The next story is called This Cost Them Millions. This was during my previous workplace, where I worked for more than half a decade. By the time I left, I was in the top 3 personnel of seniority and knowledge, and the most technical system user out of hundreds and hundreds of people. I've done it all, everything from A to Z. Operations, HR, finance, supply chain, etc., you name it. Anyway, I decided to leave as the leadership had changed and everything was going downhill fast. My progression had slowed down and I was not allowed to progress for another 2 to 3 years depending on how I behave. It took me quite some time to find my current job and take the step. However, up to the moment of leaving, my new director, tried to play a power move in a one-on-one meeting. He said that I'm not a team player. If I don't like it, I should go. It's okay if I want to go and he would understand. My colleagues are saying I'm not supportive, etc. This was due to the fact I called him out on nonsense and others, was not afraid to speak my mind on poorly made decisions and had to protect my team from his and other manager mistakes. I rather took the hit than my team. The meeting got quite heated, but I kept my cool and he proposed to meet in an hour or so to think and discuss how I will change and what is my project for this year. In simple words, what extra you will do for the same salary, because we don't like you and want you to pay a lot less. Fine, let's meet in an hour. I considered quitting on the spot, because that would cause absolutely massive issues. But I decided to treat him in the same way I was treated. And my team shouldn't suffer from his stupidity. Cue malicious compliance, first time. I came back to the meeting and spewed out the biggest vilest nonsense I could come up with that he wanted to hear. Oh jolly me, happy days, I'm a yes man. I came up with random projects and the values I really wanted to contribute, yada yada. I really gave the effort in my emotions whilst discussing and making this place the best workplace ever, working during my days off and overtime to succeed. I am in it for all to redeem my poor values. I could have involved HR and sorted it out differently, but this was way better. Anyway, the rancor sort of bites my nonsense and goes with it, giving me a last chance to redeem myself. Not sure what I'm redeeming, it's him who did not like me. But he is not a complete moron, so probably he had some doubts. So after leaving the room, I started the new happy yes man me transformation. I said absolutely nothing to anyone about leaving, because I am fully aware of how things spread around. So in the meantime, I had a few interviews and one place caught my eye. They called me and we had good communication. I was waiting for the final interview. The things were still going downhill and my moron director was being more jerk than usual. I couldn't wait to drop my resignation letter on the table. Cue malicious compliance, second time. I knew my last days here were approaching and was hoping I get out soon. Unfortunately, we had another lengthy one-on-one and he still wasn't happy with everything I do and I should do more and better, especially with my type of experience. So I took upon more things. Realistically speaking, I would need at least one more person with exactly the same knowledge as I have to barely manage everything with my contracted hours. Worry not, I'm a yes man. All the new projects and responsibilities. On the next day, I checked my holidays at the end of the month. If everything is correctly booked, as I was hoping, I would give my notice and only have to work half of it due to holidays. That is, if I get offered the new position. Hours later, I get an email with a new contract, and I'm starting in a month. I did not want to send the email on the weekend about my resignation, as I wanted to see his face when I hand him a letter. So I waited for Monday, asked if he has a moment and gave him my well-presented letter with my resignation. He asked with a curiously stupid smile, "What is this?" "Well, I don't know, how about you open it up?" I said, "Have a look," to which he came back with, "I can't wait, you can tell me." Wow, the cringe. So after not saying anything, he opens it up. And suddenly, from the almighty warrior and most of the time yelling at everyone, he turns pale, scared and barely whispering, oh wow. Yes, that is my resignation letter. I give my notice now and will send it over via email. If there's anything you want to discuss, please schedule a meeting. Oh, yes, we definitely have to talk. So I had an exit interview where all of a sudden he tried to be nicer, not raising his voice and very concerned about what I am doing. The exit interview was a walk around the facility with some casual questions that I gave vague answers to. There was no point explaining anything more, as his manager was and still is on the same stupidity level and nothing would change. Cue malicious compliance last time. I inquired before me going on annual leave and also not coming back if there's anything else I can support with. No, just leave your laptop and access card. Are you sure there's nothing else? Yeah. Great. Guess you don't need access to dozens of files that everyone uses that are under my management, as well as detailed yearly, monthly, weekly and even daily forecasts of activity, hours, holidays and so on. Forecasts and such were my individual files. The commonly used one was very poor and not detailed at all. The colleague who took over thought she knew what I was doing, but had no idea it would be that hard and failed miserably. So I gave my team all the holidays and shifts they wanted, whenever they wanted. I made a schedule for at least 1 month in advance so they don't have to suffer, as I know after I leave they would be lucky to have a schedule for even the same week. And I removed all access from the files I owned and deleted them after. I ensured there are no traces of backups of them anywhere, and even formatted the SSDs so nothing could be easily recovered, even if anyone tried. On the last day of my employment, I came in, dropped everything off and left. I heard of the aftermath straight away, as suddenly the department spiraled in delays. The forecast was not accurate, scheduling did not match activity requirements, nobody working on projects. IT couldn't access my computer for whatever reasons as well and could not recover any files. The delay got so massive it would actually take months to recover with the right resources whilst not respecting KPIs. There were a lot of technical issues nobody knew how to sort out either. In the end, they had to spend a lot more on extra staff and even technical IT support to do basic things. Most of the management team left after I left and a lot of team members resigned. A rough estimate is that they will lose millions over the next years regarding how everything is managed, and they have lost already a lot. The last story is called "Hope It Was Worth It." My job was to design and write software prototypes for individual high-value customers. If they liked it well enough, then a real software engineering team would build the real product. Occasionally I would run the prototype for a few months while the customer evaluated if they wanted to buy the real project. Now these prototypes are not a lot of code, but they do run with a lot of data. Even compressed, it can be a terabyte or more. Having done this for years, I've accumulated a small disk farm of past projects. This can be very useful when a customer asks for something just like we did last year, but with a small change or two. The company resisted buying hard drives for this, but it saves me so much time I ended up buying 1 or 2 a year myself until I accumulated about 10 of them. Figure over $1,000 worth of external drives. Then, unexpectedly, management changes. New management thinks they can replace the old software guy with a cheaper new software grad, and I'm laid off with 2 weeks to train my replacement. Yes, it's blatant age discrimination, but impossible to fight, so I just went for a graceful transition to my next job. Except I have $1,000 of personal disk drives with old customer data on them. The company insists that no ex-employees may take any company data off premises and all files must be deleted. I don't want to just leave the drives at the company, but they insist I must delete all data before taking them home. So I offer that they can buy them from me, or that I will eventually use them for something else, but I can leave the data on them in case someone needs it. Not good enough. New manager insists I must delete all data and all backups before I remove the drives. Okay, that's what I do. 6 months later I get a series of desperate phone calls. New software grad has been unable to build any new prototypes. Old customers are calling to get all prototypes updated and new software grad has no idea how to do that. The executive VP is calling to ask what it would take to bring me back to do my old job. Sorry, I've got a new job. And even if I didn't, I cannot just modify the old prototype, because you insisted I delete all old copies of it. If I did want to modify it, I'd first have to recreate it from scratch. And that old series of 6 months apart data we collected is gone for good, no matter what. Sorry, you screwed yourself exactly as I told you would happen. Hope whatever you saved by hiring a new grad to replace an actually experienced programmer was worth it. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.